was 18, I met this young lady that changed me forever. She was the tamer to my wild dog. She was 16, and we would always be at this game room, and her being at the game room, you know, obviously she was impeccably beautiful. She was impeccably beautiful. And, you know, that didn't really, you know, make things better. But what really was the icing on the cake for me is she had a slick mouth, and she always had a rebuttal for anybody that tried to come at her any kind of way. But I ended up being her knight in shining armor in a ghetto full of savages. I ended up being that for her. But we made our relationship official with each other, and I ended up having to go in and lay down for a few years. So when I got out, I remember it was homecoming. And homecoming, where I'm from, has always been an epical event. It's always been epic. You know, you could see 15, 20,000 people within 5 to 6 city blocks just crowded in. I'm talking about droves of people. And I saw her, and I zoomed in. Her eyesight and my eyesight came together, and I walked up to her. She was standing with her mama, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she looked at me with a smile, with her little pretty little smile. And I was like, "You know who this is?" And she was like, "Don't play with me." And, you know, "Yeah, I know who you is." So, you know, a week later or something like that or whatever, I remember asking her, "Hey, you got somebody? You tied up?" She was like, "Not for long." Or maybe a couple of days later, a week or 10 days, whatever it was, I was in the saddle. Me and her ended up making a super tight bond. I mean, like, we was a super couple type bond. That's the bond we had. And she was the first lady, and maybe the only lady, that I risked everything for, to make sure she had, to make sure she didn't want for anything. I tried to do everything I could. She ended up getting pregnant, bringing a beautiful kid into the world that solidified it even more. But anyhow, I started to move north, because where I'm from, it's like so many hustlers. It's like a crock pot of hustlers. Like, hustlers are like beans in a crock pot where I come from. So it's hard to distinguish who might be the best because of the competition so high. So I ended up, you know, obviously going north and establishing myself as one of the elite hustlers in Northwest Florida. And, you know, she would come to see me from time to time, bring the baby. But, you know, at that time, it was a situation where I wanted her to be with me, and she wanted up here, and she wanted me to be with her down there. So that friction always was something, but it became kind of hard for us to actually maintain our love from so far, because she would tell me sometime, "I appreciate the money that you're seeing. It's doing a lot for us, but I need you to be here for me. I need you here physically for me." But I couldn't be there physically because I took it as a job, trying to help my mama with my sisters and brothers and help them, and then trying to help her and make sure her and my baby was, you know, on time with what they needed in their life. So one thing led to another, and I started spending maybe 75% of my time away from her. But when I would come in, you know, it would always be something like gifts, or, you know, I would take her out and to go eat food, and, you know, obviously we would spend our intimate time together, but it was only 48 to 72 hours. So by me being a wild dog, like all wild dogs are, you know, I started to hear things just like she started to hear things. And when I started to hear things, I thought maybe I could try to be there more. But when she don't love you no more, your money don't matter. When she don't love you no more like that, your money don't matter. So when I found out that she was with somebody else, that kind of put some friction. She ain't never really came out to tell me that at first. One day, I remember coming home, and I was making it a point to ask her who was she seeing, and she was telling me I wasn't seeing nobody or whatever, but I knew the guy because I was getting, firsthand reports on what she was doing. And I have to own up to my things that I was doing away because she wasn't no worse than me. She couldn't have been no worse than me. So to speed up a little bit, I came home and, we was out, and I remember we was at the hotel, and she had a pager. It was going off. Excuse me. When her pager started going off, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm asking her who this beeping you or whatever. So she was telling me it was a friend or whatever. So I ended up getting the pager. And when I got the pager, I looked at the number and called the number back. And it was the guy that I was told that she was with. We always got in scuffles and stuff like that or whatever. And I would leave. And then when I would leave, she was telling me, man, you ain't never here for me or whatever the case may be. And I took that in stride. And she became, like I said earlier, so monumental in my life because she became the first woman to tell me, look, I don't want you no more. Me and you ain't together no more. I wanted to tell you that so you wouldn't try to fight me or nothing like that or whatever. And I respected her for that because it took me a while to understand that when she don't want you no more, your money don't matter. When she don't want you no more, your money don't matter. So I congratulated her on the move. As a matter of fact, me and her had a situation that was kind of an unorthodox situation. I came home, and I guess now the guy, by him sitting at the head of the table, he was uncomfortable with me when I came to town. That was cool to me. But, I had to talk to him. I spoke to him. I said, hey, man, look, you're with her. I'm always going to love her. I say, man, just treat her right. I say, when I come here, I'm not going to two-time you. I'm not trying to sneak around with her or none of that. I just want you to treat her right because, I got a baby there or whatever. So he was like, okay, man, I appreciate you coming to tell me because she was starting to tell me that the coin had flipped, and he would kind of be uneasy when he saw me in town. So I gave him my word that that wouldn't happen. But, make a long story short, again, I always say that he ended up getting killed while she was pregnant. And, our relationship remained super tight. Bond for like super glue. It was always tight. And I respect her so much because her opinions and the things that she talked to me about, it kept me neutralized. She was the only woman that I was with that I would keep my head down. Like I didn't look at other women. I didn't gaze at other women. She had me to a point to where I didn't want to even see another woman. I wouldn't even look at them. I would hold my head down if I'm in the store, if I saw a woman dressed provocative or something like that. And that wasn't nothing that she wanted me to do. It was just out of respect for her. And that made me so much better in my life. And wherever she at in the world, I want to tell her if she get a chance to see this video that I'm always love you. There'll never be somebody that could take your place. And I'm going to always be the same respectful guy towards you. I'm going to always want you to maintain your status of prosperity. I'm going to always want you to be head over heels for whatever situation that's better for you. I want you to be happy when you head over heels. So I wanted to say that to the hustlers out there. When you get money, if she don't love you no more, your money don't matter.